Overman Origins Explored. Welcome to our video about Overman, the infamous alternate version of Superman from the DC Comics universe. Known as the evil Nazi Superman, Overman is a twisted version of the iconic hero we all know and love. He was created as part of a parallel universe. Despite his evil origins, Overman is a formidable opponent and a fascinating character to explore. In this video, we will delve into the history and powers of Overman, as well as examine how he differs from the mainstream Superman. So sit back, relax, and join us as we delve into the dark and twisted world of Overman, the evil Nazi Superman. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin. Overman, the evil Nazi Superman Origins Explored. Overman is Kal-El, a Nazi of Earth X, where Germany won World War II. He is the new Reichsman member. Overman is regarded as a man of iron instead of a man of steel. Unlike many of the multiverse's Superman, who developed their heroic identities on their own, Overman's name and look were consciously and deliberately patterned on the mythical figure of Superman in their reality. In this way, he resembles Superboy Prime and Clark Kent from Superman's Secret Identity as a Superman who resides in a universe where he previously existed as a fictional character. Kal-El, a newborn sent to Earth from the dying planet of Krypton, arrived in the captured Sudetenland in 1938. The kid was found by the Nazi Party and reared by Adolf Hitler, who renamed the baby Overman, a Nazi Superman fashioned after the icon of his opponents, someone who was capable of destroying their dreams. Overman and the German army conquered the world under Hitler's direction, culminating in the invasion of Washington, D.C. in 1956 on April 20th. After leaving Earth for 3 years, Overman returned to see the Holocaust's completion, becoming an outspoken opponent of Hitler's genocidal program while continuing to support the Nazi regime under the new Reichsman. Nazi scientists eventually succeeded in constructing a replica of Overman using his cells, giving birth to Overgirl, whom Overman adored and grew to see as family. He'd also take a companion, Lena, whom he'd kept useful for decades using an alien chemical. However, their marriage would become bitter and loveless. Overman was inconsolable after Overgirl's death, plagued by dreams of her dying and the deaths of his companions equals on the old Earth 10, and Lord Broken of the Gentry. Finally overcome by the death of Overgirl, Lena's growing rage over the rapid depletion of the substance that kept her young, the terrorist activities of the freedom fighters along with his own guilt over his past atrocities. Overman provided essential and secretive details to the freedom fighters, resulting in the death of the new Reichsman and Metropolis. His pain and remorse were enormous, and he was eventually toppled with the help of his own buddy, Jörgen Olsen. Overman was one of the numerous multiversal Superman kidnapped by the Prophecy in order to steal their abilities, but they were liberated by the Justice Incarnate. In the Multiversity Masterman comic titled Overman vs. Uncle Sam, Overman's hands are full, and it appears that his mind is as well. Even after all he's achieved on behalf of the Nazis over the years, and them rearing him to be the king of their world, it appears that Earth 10 Superman still ends up feeling a little guilt, and the memories of all the decisions he's made haunt him, making him doubt his actions every day, leading others to believe he's getting weaker by the day, and possibly unfit to lead. Once the freedom fighters damage Overgirl's grave, the Reichsmen kidnap one of them and start torturing him in order to learn where all the freedom fighters are located and what they have been plotting. We realize that Uncle Sam is working with this universe's Dr. Sivana, and that Sivana is obtaining weapons for them from the League of Sivanas, traveling through the Bleed. They believe that taking over Earth 10 will be easier once the Reichsmen have been wiped out, and they will not have to get their own hands dirty. We also learn that Uncle Sam has actually been concentrating on a superhuman venture so that the freedom fighters can compete with the dictators of Earth 10. But none of this really matters. This story has almost no freedom fighter action and focuses more on Overman's internal struggle. Finally, we learn that the one freedom fighter was seized on purpose and brutally murdered by Letterwings and U-Man in order to create a diversion so that the freedom fighters would be able to drop a crushing defeat upon the Reichsmen by having their Earth 10 equivalent of the Eagle's Nest, the watchtower, crash land upon the Earth. Although this may have killed a few of the Reichsmen, this ended up entirely devastating Metropolis. Yet, as the issue concludes, we learn that Overman remains alive. Second Overman from Earth 10. Carl Kent, originally Kal-El, is also known as Overman, an evil alternative incarnation of Superman from an alternate dimension in which the Nazi Party resurfaced and took over the United States in the late 1950s. This Overman is resistant to kryptonite from all other realms and is unfamiliar with the term. To survive the fall of his homeworld of Krypton, the newborn who would turn into Overman was hurled into the sky by his biological parents. His rocket crashed on Earth and was discovered and fostered by the Nazi ruler Vandal Savage. He evolved into the Reich's primary enforcer and an icon of Aryan authority. Overman fell in love with Lois Lane, who was actually a spy for General Zod's freedom fighters. Overman personally killed her after learning of her treason. Despite his unwavering devotion to Savage, he remained terribly affected by losing Lois. So Savage ordered his researchers to erase Overman's memory of her and his sadness. While addressing a gathering of admirers one day, Overman was unexpectedly taken to a strange chamber with a dark-haired lady. He confronted her and demanded to be told his whereabouts and precisely what had occurred. He soon realized he was on a different planet and resolved to capture it for the Reich. The woman struck him with a pistol that was powered by kryptonite, yet he remained unharmed. He scorched her with his heat vision but recognized her as Lois and saved her life by flying away. He faced the Justice League heroes from another universe. He was able to beat them thoroughly, but still, the Martian Manhunter defeated him with a telepathic strike, forcing him to recall his memories of Lois. The League detained him, but the multi-dimensional changes that had led him to their planet persisted and escalated, causing widespread pandemonium. The League chose to follow Manhunter's instincts into a vortex that emerged above Earth when he discovered the cause of the cosmic disturbances. Even though they didn't trust him, they agreed to bring Overman along since they thought his strength would be valuable. The League arrived in the mirror room and persuaded Amazo not to demolish the walls between realities. However, the creature beyond the mirrors summoned Overman, and he destroyed the walls, liberating it. Amazo 2 projected a visual of the gathering heroes battling it. However, in fact, they were all frozen still in space. Overman opted to attack the League in the collective illusion, concluding that his vengeance towards them was more vital than the multiverse's existence. Amazo 2 destroyed the whole multiverse, destroying Overman, but the life equation rebuilt him in all of reality. Overman was sent to Earth X, and with his recollection of Lois restored and his behavior tortured with remorse, he handed himself up to the freedom fighters for prosecution. Overman from Earth 17. On Earth 17, a bad world in which everything has gone wrong, there also exists an alternate version of Overman. Superheroes were developed on this planet as a result of a government project, with Overman, a Superman equivalent, being the first hero. The remaining heroes of this world are clones created from his cellular scrappings. The Justice League in this reality is affiliated with the US military and contains counterparts of Batman, Flash, Green Lantern, and Wonder Woman. Overman is eventually afflicted with a sex virus, which drives him mad, causing him to murder the Justice League and trash the Earth. Overman gains control over a doomsday weapon, which he plans to use in order to kill the planet and kill himself with it. The crisis destroys this universe, but Overman is later revived as a result of Psycho Pirates' schemes, only to be murdered by Animal Man. In the 24th issue of Animal Man, published on April 26, 1990, entitled Purification Day, Overman makes a significant appearance. The comic starts when Animal Man has landed at Arkham Asylum, and he and the resurrected pre-crisis heroes are investigating the nature of a unique anomaly, a rupture in the continuum. Before anybody can enter through the crack, Overman comes with a doomsday explosive, having been liberated from the head of the Psycho Pirate alongside the other retcon figures. Ultraman assaults Overman in an attempt to protect his dignity, while the gathered characters are seriously worried. Unfortunately, he and any other heroes who attempted to help are quickly defeated by the evil Overman. Dr. Highwater comes to a conclusion concerning the state of space-time after seeing comic novels illustrating the events at hand, but Animal Man walks into the breach before the Doctor can share his insight. Dr. Highwater is informed by Psycho Pirate that the comic books are most likely from Earth Prime, and he hints at the cause of the crisis. He states that as the only individual who recalls the crisis of Infinite Earths, this current crisis is the consequence of his reintroducing the dead characters into the timeline in the hopes of causing an absolute catastrophe. As the countdown on the Doomsday device ticks down, Animal Man teases Overman from beyond the comic panels. The conflict continues till Animal Man drags Overman into the breach, where the truth about reality overwhelms him. Overman gets trapped within a comic panel by Animal Man, which gradually shrinks until the supervillain is crushed within it. The Nazi cyborg Overman. Heinrich Henshaw was also known as the Nazi superweapon cyborg Overman. When Overman mysteriously disappeared in 2016, the Nazis used Heinrich to build a new Overman. Cyborg Overman, a cybernetic humanoid with Kryptonian cells, was the outcome. Once the freedom fighters staged a comeback, Führer Adolf Hitler II used the cyborg Overman to combat them. The cyborg was successful in capturing the human bomb, but was not able to prevent the freedom fighters from fleeing. Later, at the Doomsday Bunker, Henshaw encountered them again and battled Uncle Sam. Henshaw, unfortunately for him, grossly overestimated the spirit of America, for whom the abilities are amplified by the downtrodden American people's will, and who soundly pummeled the villain to the point of him experiencing physical agony. Before his head was squashed under Uncle Sam's foot, Henshaw spent his dying seconds asking for aid and raving that he was the master race. What makes Overman so deadly? Under the influence of the yellow sun, Overman has the same inherent powers as a typical Kryptonian. Solar energy intake is the primary source of Overman's superpowers in ideal conditions, as they are dependent on exposure to the sun's radiation from a yellow star system. His biological makeup contains a variety of organs that have no human counterparts and whose roles are unclear. Yellow energy from the sun is thought to be stored between one or several of them in his biocellular framework for subsequent usage. This causes these powers to wane when the yellow sun energy is not accessible. Overman can simply shoot intense heat beams at a target by staring at it. He can adjust the heat and region impacted. He can focus on a specific source or frequency by blocking out surrounding noises with skill and attention. Overman's hearing is acute enough to pick up on every sound, regardless of loudness or pitch. Overman's eyesight processes the whole electromagnetic spectrum while also providing extensive control over selective attention and concentration. Overman has a broad view of the visible spectrum. He is capable of seeing and identifying radio and television signals, as well as all other televised or transmitted frequencies. He can elude detection by radio or surveillance system technologies by using these skills. This also enables him to perceive the aura produced by living things. He has the capacity to view something from a long distance without breaking any physical limitations. Though restricted, the precise degree of his skill is yet to be discovered. It functions similarly to a camera's zoom lens. Except for lead, he has the ability to see through any amount of substance. Overman can perceive things behind any dense, opaque object. He can use this skill to peel back layers of an object visually, revealing hidden images or inner workings. It is unknown what form of energy he perceives, whether it is X-rays, cosmic radiation, or another type of energy unseen to normal humans. He can detect an energy source in the environment. He can also see incredibly minute things and pictures all the way down to the nanoscale. Overman can see better in low light and, to a lesser extent, absolute darkness. Overman controls gravitational particles in order to defy gravity and fly. This includes hovering in any position or moving in any direction. Overman is nearly impervious to severe energy forces due to combination of his thick molecular structure and turbocharged bioelectric aura. Furthermore, he expands this protection against poisons and infections. Overman can live much longer than typical humans, remaining in peak condition as long as he is exposed to the yellow sun. Overman is capable of continuing to engage in rigorous physical activity indefinitely. This is dependent on his body immediately turning yellow sun radiation to energy, but he is limited by psychological and physiological demands to drink, eat, and sleep. Overman's strength is enhanced by yellow sun radiation interacting with his musculature's higher than human density, durability, and biological efficiency. His ability is more of a conscious will on fields of energy than physical strength. This act of deliberate choice allows him to achieve physical feats that go beyond the use of force. By pure power of will, Overman can travel at astounding speeds. This includes his perceptions. By expelling air from his lungs, Overman can generate hurricane-force winds. To freeze targets, he can freeze the air as it exits his lungs. He also can reverse the process, allowing him to draw massive amounts of air or vapors into his lungs. Marvelous verdict. In conclusion, Overman, the evil Nazi Superman, is a disturbing and fascinating character in the DC Comics universe. He serves as a dark reflection of the hero we all know and love, showing us the terrifying consequences of what could have been. His powers and abilities are just as impressive as Superman's, but they are used for evil instead of good. It's important to remember that Overman is not just a villain, but also a symbol of the dangers of fascism and the importance of standing up against oppressive regimes. We hope you enjoyed learning about Overman and the alternate universe he inhabits. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. And as always, if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.